Good evening, everyone. Today we are delving into Nexus by Yuval Noah Harari, a text that extends his earlier reflections from Sapiens and Homo Deus into the dense interstices of data, consciousness, and civilizational evolution. Nexus is not merely another techno-philosophical narrative. It's an ambitious attempt to theorize how human history and artificial intelligence intersect within the very structures of power, surveillance, and biopolitics that define our present moment.
Absolutely, Aisha. Harari's Nexus operates at the frontier between history and speculative philosophy. He interrogates how human networks, biological, digital, and cognitive, are converging into what he calls a planetary consciousness grid. In doing so, Harari essentially asks, what happens to human agency when algorithms know us better than we know ourselves? It's a profound question that binds the philosophical lineage of Foucault's power-knowledge paradigm with the algorithmic governance of the 21st century.
Thematic discussion. Yes, and I find Harari's articulation of Dataism in Nexus particularly compelling. He argues that in the emerging world order, the flow of data becomes the ultimate measure of meaning. This reminds us of what Walter Mignolo describes as the coloniality of information, the way data regimes replicate imperial hierarchies, determining whose knowledge counts and whose experiences remain invisible. Harari's narrative implicitly acknowledges this, though one might argue he doesn't fully theorize it from a decolonial standpoint.
That's an important critique. Harari's framework is indeed global, but it is also implicitly Eurocentric. He discusses the rise of data networks through Silicon Valley, but he rarely interrogates how these technologies are rooted in centuries of colonial epistemology. For instance, the so-called nexus of global data mirrors the imperial archive, a structure that centralizes knowledge and power. As Akile Mbembe notes in Necropolitics, the control of data today is a form of controlling life itself.
Exactly. And moreover, Nexus raises an ethical anxiety about the post-human future. Harari's vision of cognitive enhancement, gene editing, and AI-driven governance pushes us toward what he calls algorithmic evolution. But this vision, while fascinating, assumes a universal human subject, one that is not marked by race, class, or geopolitical difference. From a decolonial perspective, that's problematic because the post-human discourse often forgets that vast populations are still struggling for basic human recognition.
Indeed, and there's a tension between Harari's optimism and his dystopian undertones. He writes with a kind of detached